You guys don't know just how long I stand in front of this camera trying to come up with an intro, but I'm tired of it. We're just gonna get right to it. What is up, you beautiful people? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? It is finals week for me. I have 2 more days of tests, and I am slowly dying a painful, very mathematically lead-in death. What do I have left? Just like another year of school. And so the madness descends. But you know what's keeping me sane? Books! So what do you think I like to do? That's right, kids. I like to read books. Yeah. However, we're not gonna talk about that today. No. We're gonna talk about the books I don't want to read, because this is the anti-TBR tag. Are you ready for the tea to start flowing, the spice to start flying, the juicy details just to be juicing? Well, you're about to be, because I got the questions right here. Let's get into this mess. Number 1, a popular book everyone loves. So mainstreamed. A popular book everybody loves that you have no interest in reading. So way back when, almost 2 years ago now. Wow, I'm getting old, but I still look good. Yeah. Anyways, about 2 years ago, I started my booktube channel. And to get started with it, my dumb brain decided to go out and buy a ton, not just like the first books of the most popular series. I bought all the popular series. I have Maze Runner, I have Divergent, I have Hunger Games. All that early 2010 stuff that was all the rage. Even like maybe early 2000s. I bought everything that came out of that giant dystopian craze. And part of my big like, oh, this is like gonna be my little take on booktube, what I wanted to happen was I was gonna review all these popular books and give it like a yay or nay kind of thing. But the thing is, the more that I'm getting deeper and deeper into booktube and finding the really good books and just hearing how bad these dystopian books were, like Maze Runner and Divergent, it's making me not want to read it, and I really don't want to read it anymore. But I know it's not really, controversial to say I don't want to read Divergent or Maze Runner anymore, because I think a lot of us are just like tired of that whole dystopian love triangle tropey mess. But Game of Thrones is something I want to read because, fantasy, dragons, betrayal, monarchies, all that good stuff. But I also know it's kind of dirty, and I don't want to ruin this beautifully pure mind of mine. So I most likely won't read it, but I do want to, especially because everybody's so angry about that last season, and I haven't read the books or seen the show, so I'm like, I don't care. I just like seeing y'all's reactions. Number 2, a classic book or author you don't have any interest in reading. So, slight little asterisk on this one because I've already read one of his books. I will never, ever, probably ever, unless I just feel like I need to get mad, I will never read another Haruki Murakami book ever again. Because after Kafka on the Shore, I just don't trust him. People are like, oh, it's a modern classic, it's a metaphor. And I'm like, I've considered actually taking a chainsaw to this book because that's how much I hate it. Like, it started out beautifully. Then, after that Johnny Walker scene, it just got worse and worse, and I hated Kafka. What's that nice old guy's name? The old guy who was my favorite character. Tanaka? Nope, I'm thinking about that guy from Haiku. I love Tanaka. Was his name Tanaka? Come here. I swore I'd never touch you again, but I'm touching you again. Nakata! I was close. Anyways, I hate this book. They, booted Nakata out of the narrative, basically. We were still with him, but we weren't in his head anymore. His narrative got transferred over to some baseball-loving random truck driver. And honestly, if you love Kafka as a human, as a character, you got some explaining to do. The comments are down below. Tell me why you like that boy. Also, it's magical realism, which I hate now. And so much random magical crap was happening, and I couldn't tell what was happening. Number 3.2. A problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I don't know any problematic authors right now. I know people are mad at J.K. Rowling, but I've already read all her books, so, well. I do remember, speaking of Divergent, that Veronica Roth got in trouble for Carve the Mark. They said there was racism in it, but I've heard people say, oh, there's no racism. Then people are like, oh, it's totally racist. So I kind of want to read it so I can figure out who's right and wrong. So there's a controversial author I want to read. I didn't answer this question at all correctly, but we're going to pretend I did, okay? Okay, number 4, an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided the books are not for you. I'm going to have to take a peek. Okay, I looked at Leigh Bardugo. So I have a weird relationship with Leigh Bardugo. Love Six of Crows. Grisha Trilogy was meh, except for The Darkling. I loved Ninth House. I hated King of Scars. So she's very meh with me. me. Like, she's, what's it called, like a wild card? Oh, thought of one, Ruth Ware. I really don't want to read any more Ruth Ware books, like, ever again. Even though I have this one, it's somewhere on here. I have her book, The Woman in Cabin 10, so I do need to read that one just to get it off my shelf. But I read 2 other books by her, The Lying Game, Turn of the Key, and I'm just like, nah. I would rather pick up a Riley Sager book. That's a good thriller author right there. So is Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. They wrote You're Not Alone, An Anonymous Girl, and my favorite thriller, The Wife Between Us. So yeah, no more Ruth Ware for me, please. Number 5, a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into but couldn't. Magical realism. As soon as I get rid of all the magical realism on these unturned books I have, unturned, is that a word? Turned books, you know what I mean. You can't see the spines. I plan on never going to magical realism ever again. No, not me. I'm a very character and story person, more so the characters, but with magical realism, it's more about like the flowery narrative bits where no one's talking and no one's walking, so no one is accomplishing anything. So I just can't do it. I read Neil Gaiman. I was like, okay. I read Into the Starless Sea. I DNF'd it. Kafka on the freaking shore. Horrible. I made myself finish that just so. Oh, just you wait. You'll see. You'll see. Number 6, a book you have bought but will never read. This is The Maze Runner. Like, I just don't even want to read it anymore. This can be a book you have unhauled/returned to the library unread. Like, going back to that first question, there's just a lot of dystopian books on my shelf now that I bought just randomly without thinking it through. Like, you know the library has Divergent or The Maze Runner in stock. Like, I did not need to go buy those. Now they're stuck on my shelves. And I'm like, do I just want to get my money's worth and read it and then throw it away? Or do I just want to spare myself and use my time for another book and just throw it away? If you guys love The Maze Runner, tell me why. Get me interested in it. Because I did read The Maze Runner long ago when the first movie came out. And I was just like, okay, yeah, it's okay. But I never went on to the other books. But now I own all the other books. And I want to reread the first book so I can get into the other books. But I'm also just like, I kind of remember most of everything that happened in the first book. And I don't want to reread it. But what if I'm missing details that I might need for the other books? So I don't know if I want to read The Maze Runner. Number 7, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you started and have DNF. What's that thing called? It has a lady on the cover, and there's a shadow cat. One of it's called God's Grave. What's that book called? The character's name is Mia, I think? Maya? No, I'm not Googling this. I'm gonna make my brain work. They wrote Illuminae, J. Kristoff. What's it called? No, I'm not gonna Google it. I know one of the books in the series is called God's Grave. Nightfall. No? What? I give up. Sundown. Evernight. Evernight? My phone just bloody restarted. What's this book called? No, I don't have Google. Never Dusk. Never something. Now I gotta rip my This phone is literally 8 years old, so whenever it gets like under 30%, I have to yank the battery out. Then I have to go charge it up, or it's just gonna get caught in a constant restarting cycle. What's the name of this book? Nevernight? Is it Nevernight? That's it. This is why I film on a laptop, because my brain is stupid. Is it Nevernight? I was right. It's Nevernight. Long story short, I just don't feel like reading it, and everybody loves it. Wait, my phone died. Now I don't know what the last question is. I apologize for all these technical difficulties. My phone is trash. Anti-TBR tag. Questions, please. Okay, last question. Number 8. A new release you have no interest in reading. You know, I wish the newest release I didn't have an interest in reading was To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. But alas, I did have an interest in that. I read it, I DNF'd it, and it broke my heart because I love Christopher Paolini. But the greatest book of all time is called Eldest. Go read it. Okay, controversy. You guys ready? I don't want to read yet Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson because you guys know there's 3 other books before it that are each over 1,000 pages, and there's 2 novellas, short stories that I haven't read yet. And I've already forgotten, even though I just read them, a lot of what happened in the first 3 books. Rhythm of War is book 4. And so I feel like I need to go reread those books and then immediately dive into Rhythm of War. So I don't want to read Rhythm of War yet, but I do because my baby Kaladin is in there, and last book he had his sorry butt handed to him a couple times, so I know he needs my help. He needs emotional support, and I am with him. Okay, guys, that is that. What is the one book that is so overhyped in your opinion that you never want to read? There's honestly a ton of classics I'm just not interested in and don't want to read. Like, Jane Austen to me, I don't know. I don't care about her. She don't care about me. I guess we both hate each other. And I'm going to film a really exciting video next, especially especially if you guys like some anime. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started into that. You'll see this exact outfit again with this exact hairstyle, which isn't really a hairstyle at all, it's just hair. Thank you guys again for watching, and you know the drill. Stay ready, my friends. Read!